Good day everybody, Darren Yankee with Aqua Farms. We're just out rebuilding our corn planter today. It's a beautiful day to be outside working on some equipment out in the sunshine. But I'll go through a little bit about what we're doing to the corn planter this year. We're upgrading a couple things, and we're also just replacing some wear points and wear parts on the corn planter. So this is your standard row unit. This row unit here is already rebuilt. We have all of our new pieces put on here. So I'll walk you through what it looks like with all of the pieces off of the row unit. So we'll come down here to this row here. You can see we have this one stripped right down to pretty well where we want to start at. We are replacing the seed firmer, which goes down here, and we're putting on a furrow jet. So this is an upgrade that we're doing. So if we can see over here on this row unit, we have this furrow jet. It has a fertilizer applicator in the back of it, and that goes down in the ground and puts fertilizer beside the row and in the row. We have a couple different points of fertilizer that go into the ground there. And then we have seed firmers, and this is a smart firmer. So the smart firmer will tell us the temperature of the soil, the moisture of the soil, organic matter as well, and a couple other things. So this will tell you on the go as you're going across the field what is out in your field for temperatures, moisture, organic matter. We are replacing the seed tube guard and the new double disc openers we're putting on. So it is very important to keep your double disc openers nice and sharp and new. We had about 1,800 acres on their old disc, and they weren't wore out by any means, but we wanted a sharp edge on them. So we're getting them all replaced on here just to make sure that we can get into the ground and create a beautiful looking seed trench. So along with all that, we have a conceal setup, it's called, from Precision Planting, and that's what these arms are down here. These apply the nitrogen beside the furrow, 2 inches off to the side of the row. And these units get pulled up and get slid up in between your gauge wheel. So if you come over here to this row, you can see we got the gauge wheel here. And you see that knife down in there between the gauge wheel. So we ended up replacing the inner gauge wheel on these conceal units this year. And what we did is we went with a spoked wheel. So the inner wheel here is spoked. Now that will help keep the dirt from building up on the inside of them wheels. Last year we had a lot of plug-in issues, and the dirt was getting plugged on the inside of them wheels. And hopefully these spoked wheels will help prevent that from plugging up. So along with that, we put on new Duraware parallel gauge wheel arms from Precision Planting. So these arms create a nice and tight connection for your gauge wheel, so you don't have any slop in your gauge wheel. What it is, there's a bearing on here, and you slide the arm onto the bearing, and then you tighten it here with this pinch point tightener, and that'll tighten that up on that bearing. So you can adjust it just perfect to the disc, because you want your gauge wheel adjusted tight to your disc, but not too tight. The tighter you keep it to the disc and the closer you keep it, the less dirt you have getting between your disc and your gauge wheel. So that's a really nice update that we did this year. We're hoping that keeps that gauge wheel arm tight, and it will also keep dirt from getting behind our wheel. We also are putting on a whole complete new setup for the depth adjust. That's all new this year as well. Some of the stuff we had on here was getting pretty wore out. So that's just some of the items that we're doing this year on our planter, and hoping for a great planting season and going to the field knowing that we have our equipment up to date and where it needs to be, so hopefully we don't have any breakdowns during the season. Well, thanks a lot for following along, everybody, and you guys have a great day.